What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. So Los Angeles Lakers easily defeated the Phoenix Suns. I forget the final score. I think it was around 10 points or so, but there were stretches of the game where it really wasn't that particularly close at all. The Phoenix Suns experiment is a failure. And at this point, it's not even a guarantee that the Phoenix Suns are going to make the play-in tournament. And, I was looking at much of the game. I was listening to the halftime crew on ABC. You could definitely get a sense that this team has failed. To me, Devin Booker is very overrated. I think that in the 90s, Devin Booker would have been like a role player, a good, maybe quality role player, but I just don't see what's so special about him. He's one of these many plethora of players that get compared to Kobe Bryant, but yet whenever they inevitably fail, they never get any smoke. Not the smoke that they really truly deserve. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm going to focus on Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant started off the game like 1 of 9 from the floor. I think he finished 6 of 17. I was watching the game with the brother 78. We were watching it at the same time he was on the phone talking, and one of the things that we were noticing, and Kevin Durant, I know he's had a long, luxurious career. I think he's played 17 years now, I believe. I think he's in his 17th season. And, or is it his 18th season? No. Well, it's his 17th because he missed a year. But he was drafted 18 years ago. One of the things I noticed about KD was the way that he was moving out there on the court. He looks like an old player. He looks old. And I know statistically he still can score, but a lot of that I think is because of the era that he's playing in. It's not physical. And I've noticed over the last couple of years that when you get physical with Kevin Durant, it throws off his rhythm and it throws him off. And KD used to be a bucket. Yeah, KD at times would, like anybody, he'll have his off nights. But KD was clearly one of the top for many, many years. KD was at least a top 5 player in the league. At this point, I'm not even sure if KD is a top 25 player in the league. And I don't think that's hyperbole when you really scan the NBA. Like I said, he can still score. And if he, wants to change his career, his role on a team to being more of a supporting player, on a really good team, maybe even perhaps coming off the bench, where his specialty is just providing offense, coming to the bench. I think he's at that point in his career where he could do something like that, man. But I think as far as him being a star, I think right now, man, it's over. That part of his career, to me, I think is over. He's not LeBron James. He's not going to be able to play 22, 23 years at a high level. And a lot of it has to do with the injuries. People got to remember this guy had an Achilles rupture. That was 6 years ago almost now. He's had a multitude of other injuries, ankle injuries, lot of ankle injuries, lower extremity type injuries, and I just think that plus the accumulation of age and wear and tear have aged him, man. And look, not even just that. Each year that this guy comes out there and fails to be competitive, it destroys, in my opinion, well, not destroys, but it hurts his legacy. Look, all let's go back to 2000 and let's say 2015, right? Or definitely 2014, the year that KD won his MVP. If I were to tell you back then, in 2014, that Steph Curry would go down as a historically greater player than KD, you would have looked at me and laughed and made that bet proudly. And you would be a mad motherfucker right now. Steph Curry, all he needed was Jimmy Butler, who is not an all-time great in my opinion. And the Warriors have turned it on just like that. And I don't know about them winning the championship, but you never know. You never know with the Warriors. All he needed was Jimmy Butler. This guy, Kevin Durant, needs the moon and the stars to be competitive. And it's another failure. And no matter how you look at it, if it were not for the Golden State Warriors being a cheat code with him, this guy's legacy would be very, very questionable. Questionable. Because I'll say this about Russell Westbrook. He's not the greatest point guard of all time. I'm not even certain he's a top 10 point guard, although the numbers could definitely attest to that. But one thing that Russ did, and I'll say this about him, Russ could at least take you to the playoffs when he was a star. And he didn't have a really good team around. He could at least take those teams to the NBA playoffs without the aid of a play-in tournament. This guy, the last few years, playing with James Harden, playing with Kyrie Irving, and now playing with Devin Booker, who I do believe is overrated, playing with Bradley Beal, playing with all these supposed stars, this big three, and he can't even get into the play-in tournament right now, the way things are going with that squad. I mean, you got the head coach begging these dudes to go out there and show some effort, to show some grit, to show some hustle. You shouldn't have to beg veteran players to go out there and perform. And then you wonder why the WNBA is on pace to outrank the NBA when it comes to ratings in the next couple of years. That's a disgrace. And if, you know what I'm saying, that's another argument for another day, man. But yeah, KD, man, if this is the type of basketball that we got to start becoming accustomed to seeing with KD, maybe it's time, man. I'm just saying. I know could be somebody say, "Oh, what are you talking about? He's shooting 49 point, blah blah. He's shooting 39 point, blah blah blah." Man, yeah, you know, you had a lot of guys in the early topsy turvy, whirly derby '60s putting up numbers too. Didn't mean they could play as well as other guys because they were just beneficiary of a role. I'm talking about Kevin Durant, right? Same dude that Stephen A. Smith says a fake top 10 all-time player. I'm holding him on account to what we're accustomed to seeing with KD. Like I said, if he wants to be a role player, fine. But he's just not that guy anymore to me. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it.